we have the very busy chief of the underworld. I forgot all your titles. Hit me with it. Just, it's okay.
Coruscant Underworld Police Chief of the 69th Precinct Navy Games. Most underfunded under precinct all the Coruscant.
Holy cow, man. Your title's catching up to me. Be sure to subscribe to me. They have an event called Big PP May where you're trying to get to 20,000 subs, right?
Massive PP May. We're trying to get 20,000 subs. Ballsack Bugs Bunny wants you to subscribe.
Jesus Christ, you're gonna make me. You're trying to get my video demonetized. There you go.
Hey, it's your video, not mine. Therefore, I don't have to pay
keep
for
things PG-12 plus around here. All right. Well, sorry if I scared away the children already here. What we're gonna talk about in this video is a couple things. We're gonna be talking about obviously the thing that's on people's minds, the Datacrons, as I like to call them. We're going to talk about the Grand Inquisitor, and then we're going to talk about something that CG's done for free, but now they're going to monetize it. And be sure to hit the like on the video because we have not one, but two 8-star character giveaways at the end of the video. How CG handles things. In case you guys missed it, CG has confirmed the leak is real. And this is kind of how they handle things. Here we go. And I'll be doing everything possible to find the source of this leak. Are there any questions? But what about the content of the leak? Are we not concerned that the Empire is looking into building a space station capable of destroying planets? Whoa, 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 whoa. The real story here is the leak, not some possible future planet-destroying space station. Let's stay on point. I would have given it 2 upvotes, but they should have said stay on target. It's who's picking, who's kind of nitpicking here. Anyways, let's roll some gameplay. The Grand Inquisitor. Before we get into this, on a scale from 0 to 10, how excited are you for the Grand Inquisitor?
I would say that my will to live and my excitement are the same. They're both negative numbers. We're teetering, I would say, teetering on the edge of whatever the opposite of greatness is.
And how about you elaborate why you're kind of on that level right now? I know the answer. I think we're on the same page. I think many other people are, but give me your take on this before we get into this here.
I have no incentive to want this. I feel like there's 2 possible reasons why you'd farm a character. 1, you like the character. 2, they're useful. I don't like the Inquisitors, and I don't think they're that useful.
Yeah,
they hit zeros on both of my factors for farming stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna get into a little speculation. Maybe there's something around the corner to make them more incentivized. And I mean, I'm assuming, like, we can both assume that they're gonna be amazing in territories. Let's just make that assumption. They're gonna kill Jedi Master Kenobi. But even if so, you could just bring Kenobi on offense and just beat anything on offense. Then so I don't know if it's really a loss, even if he does turn out to be great. But very odd. I'm not mad. I'm kind of like weirded out here. But they're telling us that the Grand Inquisitor will be sometime near the end of June. The Grand Inquisitor will make it his way to Star Wars Galaxy. So they've been literally dragging this faction out for almost 6 months. I think we're probably going to get his event at the end of the Kenobi show, if I had to guess. What are your thoughts on this? I have a lot of thoughts, but you're here. I want to hear you. I always hear myself.
The longest time I was thinking, like, why is this taking so long? Like, do they not have any plans? Now we know why it took so long, right? Because they were working on Datacrons for this whole time. So now we know, like, what was kind of filling the vacuum of their time. I don't know. I just hope it doesn't flop. I feel like they're going to need something crazy in June to kind of offset this.
Yeah.
You know, quality of life, a big character announcement. Malgus obviously went a long way for kind of mitigating in my mind, because
it's funny, he's only been confirmed for a week and people are more excited than the whole entire Inquisitor faction and the Grand Inquisitor in the span of 1 day. You know,
that's what I'm saying. That's like, I feel like that's not something that they lean into enough. Like, we play this game not because it's a fun game, don't get me wrong, I enjoy it very much, I enjoy the community, but we play this game because it's Star Wars, right? Because we love Star Wars so much. One Malgus is worth 1 million Inquisitors. I don't think, like, I get that you could monetize 30 million Inquisitors because they're all marquees. You're paying 300, 400. Then you got to get into R5. Then you got to do Omicrons. Then you got to do this. And that's more profitable. But if instead of 10 Inquisitors, they focused on 3 Malgus, Vitiate, Revan Reborn, like characters that they know would be successes, because Old Republic is always profitable. You have them on screen right now for your gameplay. What's an Old Republic character that wasn't profitable? Darth Revan, very profitable. Malik, Revan.
I mean, Juhani was maybe one of those that wasn't the most exciting, but, you know, they were still needed for some Revan characters down the road at one point. Yeah, I mean, statistically, the Old Republic era was a big money seller for Galaxy. I think it was one of their biggest quarters of all time. I'm actually slightly surprised they haven't leaned in more into it, but we might be heading there. And I'll say this, yeah, the Inquisitors aren't that excited. At the minimum, I'll say this. One, it's cool that we haven't had a 2 months. It's almost a 2 months heads up through May, then through almost the end of June. They gave us a 2 months heads up on this. We haven't had that in a long time. I can't tell if it's one, because they have nothing else to fill in into the content gap, or two, since they redefined what a legendary is, maybe they had some small degree of kindness in their hearts to like kind of get people to know when it's coming. It's a good amount of time to start farming them. I don't know if you'll have 7 stars, Relic 5 by then, so I don't know if it makes that huge of a difference, but it's better than sometimes they release characters with like a 1-day notice. It's like, hey, here's a Galactic Legend, by the way, it's coming like tomorrow or something like that.
If they're not giving us new characters, there has to be like, they have to have been working on something, right? Maybe I'm coping, maybe that's a cope, and I just think that it makes sense that they have to work about something. Like, maybe this is all because Gear 2.0 is coming out, that they promised a year.
Okay, listen, let's not joke around. They're holding the gear changes because they want to save it for when they do something bad. So they want a hostage exchange situation where we're gonna do this Datacron thing, and we'll find here's a hostage in exchange for us doing this. It's unfortunate they don't just do something out of the kind. It's like, why don't we just, like they did the gear changes because people are gonna complain and moan about Omicrons and Relic 9 and stuff like that. So they had to give you something, and the Grand Arena changes that were taking place. So, but maybe these Inquisitors, maybe there's a slight tie-in with these Omicrons or the Datacrons. Too many cons and ons in this game right now. And I had a tinfoil hat on the other day. People didn't like when I had a tinfoil. I think some crazy stuff when the tinfoil comes on. If you look at the very bottom, when you're upgrading the materials, now keep in mind, subject to change, it's beta, we don't know what the final materials are. There's gonna be a catch, right? They've never done a progression system for free. There's always something. Right now it shows relics, but it also shows like some weird materials that we've never seen, some blue, purple, and yellow. And when I put on the tinfoil hat spoke to me and said, maybe territories might become more important. And if you don't do territories, you don't do well in it. Like Relic 9's like, who cares if you're not getting enough Relic 9, right? But if these come into the picture and they're territory war exclusive that affect the entire power of the game, would that pique your interest more in territories and you'd be like, oh crap, I need these Inquisitors now?
Absolutely. I mean, when they first did Relic 9, I think they miscalculated how excited we would be about it.
Yeah, I don't know what's
in their best interest to have us spread our resources out as much as possible. That's why they're diluting value with Tusken Raider 3v3 Omicron, because now you're not getting value in all GAC. It's 3v3 GAC.
I'd rather have that than Territory Wars, though.
But exactly, that's the point, is we have things that we want and things that we don't want, and they want us to spread out what we're concerned about. Because if we only get GAC Omicrons, then we're not spending money to get the Territory War and the Territory Battle and the Conquest Omicrons, right? Because we're only focused in one point, and they know every time a Territory War Omicron comes out, they're not going to profit off of Omicron packs. So I think they miscalculated how much we would like R9, and now this is going to be either you get it in Territory War or Territory War becomes important for Datacrons, because now I have to think, I need to be in a good guild. To be in a good guild, I now have to be a better guildmate, because everyone knows AP Gaines is the worst guildmate of all time.
Of course,
right?
obviously.
Now I care about GAC and I care about Territory Wars, so now I have to apply Omicrons in both, and I can't do that. I have one Omicron right now. I'm not buying the packs. And now they're putting the pressure on you to spend on the Omicron packs or to do something that you wouldn't otherwise do, because now they've spread your focus point out over so many different things.
Let's actually slightly transition this topic a little bit here, because right now we're kind of focusing on if Inquisitors will be important, and this is highly speculative. But let's now change the conversation to Datacrons themselves and how we think it's going to affect the game at large. Again, it's hard to tell, but we can kind of get, I'm assuming this is, I would say it's probably like 85% there with what we're seeing right now. And people know my opinion. For those that haven't seen your channel, why don't you give me your quick spiel on Datacrons, and then I'll give a quick summary of mine. And I think we can both agree, there's, from what we see so far, there could be some good stuff. I think there's definitely, if they are going to roll this, they should do a lot of improvements. I don't think the game needs it, as I'll show you, but let me just stop talking. You get in here and tell me something.
I'd like to acknowledge that you hate CG so much passively that you call them Datacrons instead of Datacrons.
I know, I do that on purpose.
It just seeps
For
in
the
your
record,
blood.
I don't like hate CG where I'm going to bed fuming. It's just I chew them out when they do stupid stuff. There's a difference between hating and wishing you were dead and kind of like smack you on the head and saying, what are you doing? Get your stuff together. Yeah, somebody. It's gonna be. We're gonna call it Datacrons, Conquest, Datacrons. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupt you. Go for it.
I'm right there with you. So, I mean, when it first was announced, I mean, like everyone, we're I was up in the crack of dawn just because I have insomnia and I see a Reddit post and everyone's like, you gotta stream, you gotta do this. So I was reading it as it comes out. My initial impression was, this could be, and this happens a lot in Galaxy of Heroes, so stay with me while I make a point.
I'll go for I know what you're going to say. Go for it.
This could be a good thing. Right?
I agree with you.
Just
it could
like
be.
Mods made the game better. There's more variety. It was less stale. Because if you watch a lot of top-end players, and that's why I like watching your streams, because they change so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You're at the very top. You have to do different stuff every time.
Yeah.
A lot of top-end guys, you watch them play or whatever, it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And there's no adaptation. There's no, this GAC is so wildly different from this GAC.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love about GAC, because if you're a mid-game player like me, or an early game player like a lot of my viewers, you guys know that GAC is never, ever, ever the same. Sometimes I have to place everything on... Sometimes I only play ships on defense. I do whatever it takes to win the GAC, and I think Datacrons could help mix up GAC and make it more interesting for top-end players, right? Because it's already interesting for everyone else.
Yeah.
We all know that it's crazy, and it could do that. The problem is, a lot of stuff they implement, it could be a good idea, and then they kind of drop the ball on execution, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be 2K to win, or they're going to be specific to teams that you have to spend a lot of money for, like, they're all going to be Inquisitor focused or GL focused or whatever. Like, if they don't drop the ball, which is a massive if, great idea. I'm 100% behind it. If they capital games it, I think this could be some point that people would be pretty upset about.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound two-faced. The concept of seasonal power, I've actually liked it in the past. I'm going to show you some gameplay. And I actually asked you, when did you start playing? Because you missed out on this. Here's some gameplay right here. I always show this. This is a classic clip, November 2018 through early 2019. CG, they implemented seasonal bonuses for specific characters and factions. Oh, what?
Mace Windu, baby.
What is this? At one point, they had, my gosh, look how bad Mace Windu looked. He looks like Mr. Clean almost here. At one point, they added power. So things like Cup, even Coruscant Underworld Place had seasonal power. Dooku, Clone Troopers, and Mace Windu, they were given some sort of crazy bonus of the month. And look how cool this was. I was a huge fan of this. And the funny thing was for free. They just said, hey, this month we're adding a ton of bonuses for X, Y, or Z character. And get a load of the response. And why they stopped doing this. That's why a lot of people didn't realize this. They think this whole Datacron thing it's a new concept. It's not really a new concept. The monetization of it is the new concept. I had an absolute blast. I know it's kind of hard to understand how this meta was, but Palpatine, the trio, Vader, that was the meta back in 2018. And this character was like gear 8, taking on gear 12, which was the highest gear back in the day. So they've done this in the past. And I agree with you. I think it's a great way of shaking things up. However, for some reason, they stopped. And their response was Top Hat, who was one of the top dogs, top dog, in pushing the content in Galaxy Heroes and what we see, or features. They said, Top Cash, there you go. The question came up in a Q&A back in 2019. When are those bonuses coming back? It was so much fun seeing clones be good, even though they were trash back then, seeing Mace Windu solo Sith, and they said not anytime soon. They were expensive to make, and I think you could just stop right there. Like, you could literally stop right there, because the rest of it sounds weird, because they said it's hard to balance. Okay, fine. But they said it divided the community and had no impact on how much people engage with territory wars. If we saw that the data that people went crazy for them, then we would do more. But that doesn't seem to be the case. So my question is to you. If this was a highly divisive thing, creating these seasonal power bonuses, what changed? The only thing I can tell is that they wanted a way to monetize it, because I'm guessing maybe these seasonal bonuses didn't incentivize people to gear up characters, maybe. And then maybe they weren't making money as a result. Because I understand they got to make money at the end of the day. But why all of a sudden now? Why do they want to do these Datacrons when instead a couple years ago, I was a fan of it, they did it for free? I don't know. Do you have a take on this? It seems weird that all of a sudden we're not going to be divided because you're adding seasonal power. We're going to like it more because you're adding a progression, a random roll to the system and monetizing it. Like, enlighten me. Jivan, you're the king of underworld. Tell me what's going on here.
All right, so the core concept of mobile games is death by 1,000 cuts, right?
Yeah.
You'll never buy a $1,000 pack in a mobile game, whether it's SWGoH, Raid, Marvel Strike Force, any game you play.
You'd be surprised. I'm sure there's someone that'd pay $1,000.
But this is how, I'll use my girlfriend as an example. This is how mobile games make all their money. Incremental damage. You buy a 5 here, you watch the South Park episode where they spend 99 cents so many times the boys are just broke, right? And the Canadians make all their money. And then at the end of the day, you look at your bank statements and all your money's gone. It's the same thing with this. It's the same thing with GC, with Conquest. They told us at one point we were never going to get a GC or a Conquest style game mode where, you know, you would have progression, kind of like a raid system. And then they're like, well, if we charge 350 crystal refreshes and a couple of hundred crystal refreshes and the reward is Malgus and people are invested, they'll buy a $10 Conquest Pass, they'll buy a $30 Conquest Pass. Everything is all about taking just a little bit, but not enough to where you notice, right? So this is where it's going to happen. Most people are going to do this for free. A couple of people will spend a couple of bucks to do some rerolls or do whatever, and then they have one slightly stronger Datacron. There's going to be the whales who are going to spend all the money, right? That's going to prop up the game, but everyone's going to spend just a little bit. And then you add that on to GC, you add that on to Conquest, you add that on to Territory Wars, GAC, all this other stuff. And they're slowly adding just a little bit for everyone. And if a lot of people play the game, they make a bunch of money. So
look at you.
It's just math, basically.
It is math.
They're just gonna take a little bit.
It drives me crazy that this was a free feature that they did a couple years ago. And I wish they would just, like, they could be straightforward, because I don't understand what change that would not make the community divided, and how adding monetization would undivide the community. So I find their logic a little bit weird. So how about this?
Money soothes over everything.
Oh yeah, it's it's just it drives me crazy. Only money. How about this? So we'll wrap this up before we do our giveaway here. We have 2 giveaways today, so hopefully you guys like the video here. I've been getting this question a lot. This is going to come to the game inevitably. Usually from personal experience, when it's in beta, it shows up usually within 3 months, I would say. It's around the corner, especially with like the beta testers and stuff like that. Because they have like, they have like a super beta, which I'm guessing developers are doing first. Then they release to the small group, then it goes to public. So the fact that it got to the small group of beta players, it's not just them say, hey, test it out for fun. Maybe we'll do it. It's probably just them to kind of just play with it, and they'll push it out shortly after. What would you want if they're if they're gonna push this out to the people? What would you like to see change from what we're seeing now? They have a beta program of now 100,000 people, so they have a lot of feedback to work from instead of 30. So what would you want to see change before it gets pushed out to the rest of the people?
I think the most important thing that has to happen for them to have a positive rollout is, I don't remember from the leaks. You're only allowed to apply a certain amount of them, I would imagine. I can't imagine you can have 40 Datacrons active at once. Let's just assume that you can have, let's do math, right? Let's just say you can have 5 Datacrons active at a time, right? It needs to be possible for people to have like at least 3 max Datacrons and then 2 others of any of the pool that they want. For free, like completely free. Okay. Like you get the resources in GAC Territory War. If everyone can engage in the new progression without any like turmoil, they'll be more likely to spend some money, right? Because there won't be any negative feelings. Like people don't like to spend money on stuff that they don't like, right? Like I would never spend money on Conquest if I didn't want Malgus.
Right, yeah.
Right? But if there's something that you want, you're more likely to spend money on. So if it's completely free to play at a base level, right? Like you can farm gear for free. You can relic characters for free. You can apply mods for free. It's a lot slower. It's a lot harder. It takes forever. It's annoying, but it is free. You can play the game completely free to play. If it's usable, completely free to play, more people will be inclined to spend money. They'll make more money. Of course, the whales would whale, but no one would be mad because this would be interesting, be fun. It's like some people have Rogue One, and if a Datacron comes out, makes Rogue One good, you better believe that all those Rogue One investors are going to be the happiest people on God's green earth, right? So if you pull it out at a base level, completely free, and we don't have to spend any money whatsoever, I think they would be fine. And then they can make all of their money on top of it.
Are you concerned at all with the dismantling and only getting a portion of your resources back? How do you feel about that? And to roll or craft or whatever the heck it is that right now shows relic material, are you concerned at all with what materials you're using to roll and how much you're getting back? Or what are you feeling on that?
If it's the same thing where like we can get a couple of our maxed out Datacrons for free, like maybe we don't like our rolls and we can't re-roll and we're just stuck with whatever it is, I would be fine with that. Like if it's like mods and like you know, I get what I get and I don't make a fit, I would be fine. And then people can spend money to re-roll to craft the perfect Datacrons, right? Because the people who spend money need to have a clear advantage, right?
Yeah, it's
the people
unfortunate how it works. Yeah, I mean, you were telling me, we were talking about this. You worded it perfectly. It seems like they're pricing Kyber more. You got to have more fleets. You got to have the perfect Datacron set. No, sorry,
well,
I cut you off there. Yeah,
it started with skill-based matchmaking, right? Because at first you were stuck to your GP,
right?
And then you give people the taste of the Kyber 1 life and all the crystals, and now all the people who are end game free to play, like some of my guild members, like shout out to the HNN podcast, Under the Holotable, all that good stuff. Free to play, Voxen's like 8 million something, completely free to play. Like now he's gonna get priced out, and if he got that sweet taste of Kyber 1, like I know for him it wouldn't, but some people who got the taste of the sweet life and then had it ripped away with skill-based matchmaking, ripped away with ships, ripped away with Datacrons, that's just another small incremental way for them to convince a couple more people to spend a couple extra bucks.
Yeah, that's just how the game works. Like Executor's another example. Before even the ship changes happen, if you didn't have the Executor and they placed it down, you know, chances are you got a 2-shot and they can 1-shot your fleet. So there was definitely at least for me, my main concern is, one, I've seen them do it for free. It annoys me now they're monetizing it. They can't do it for free anymore. But in terms of the actual rollout, my main concern is how much are they going to refund back, and what are going to be used to roll this? Because people need to get their relics, and if you're requiring relic materials to do this, it's not helping anyone out here. And the other thing I would love to see, if I said it's a hostage exchange. If they're gonna do this, they better have a dang good hostage exchange. Like, where the heck are those Gear 2.0 changes? It's funny how that's not in beta, right? No, we gotta do this. But it's been what, November, October since they had the first rollout of the gear changes. Like, we need something serious, not this bare minimum putting a couple carbons in daily challenges. It should have been done like in 2018. So I'm hoping if they're gonna do this and not change anything, they better have something really good to help people get to Gear 12 super easily. Otherwise, they just keep adding more grind and no alleviation. I think that's the problem.
We need a quality of life. Like, we need a massive quality of life overhaul.
Like, why aren't they doing beta testing for mod quality of life stuff that we know of? It's like, why is there no words of that? Like, we can really use a mod quality of life, but instead they're working on another system to milk you. And the system right now seems like they're perpetually milking you because you're never going to be done. At least if mods, when you mod Kenobi, you're kind of done. When you got into Relic 8, you're done. This is like a never-ending progression grind. So again, I'm a fan of the concept, seasonal power. I liked it. I didn't really hear many people complain about it back in the past. I legitimately think that was just double talk from CG because they wanted a way to make money, and they weren't making money by just doing these free seasonal things. They probably thought, we could probably do this, but make money off at the same time. So, my friend, I guess we'll see. I suspect we'll probably hear about this in the road ahead in June, if I had to guess. So I guess time will tell. But there's a lot of ways they can roll this out smoothly. I don't like the way it currently stands. The idea's nice, but man, can we like get something good for the game? Give us an actual game mode, or just come on, let's get these gear economy changes going.
For instance, Arnold, getting the proper amount of crystals when GAC is over. We didn't get that. Good bonuses for May the 4th. We didn't get that.
Anytime you ask about stuff like that, they start speaking Tuscanese. I always say, it's like, where are the gear changes? Oh, here's Relic 9. Oh, here's Datacrons. It's like, gosh. Oh, you know what? I think it's time for a giveaway here. So let's do this. For every person that liked this video today, we got a Mobile Gamer official 8-star giveaway, and we got 2 of them. Let's show you part number 1 here. Bring them on over. If you like this video today, part 1 of your giveaway is going to be, give a little drum roll, it's going to be your little brother dressed as Darth Malgus. Yay! I gotta say this, Malgus looks hella tiny, man. It looks like my little brother dressed up as Malgus. But if that doesn't quench you, because everyone's gonna be getting a Malgus this time around, so you don't need an 8-star one. We got an additional giveaway, and that is gonna be an 8-star.
Actually called.
You can do it. Here you go. Okay. Introduce it.
It's the BDS MC3PO.
Oh god.
It looks like the Riddler, bro. Thanks guys for liking and subscribing. I'm gonna kill Gotham City now.
Oh gosh, I would totally watch a Star Wars horror movie and C-3PO turned into the Riddler. Oh gosh. Never tell me the odds. All right, smash scrub side, like, check out AP Gains. I'm sure we got some other fun ranty stuff out there. Hopefully, I'm hoping everything turns out to be good, but there's not a great track record to prove that's going to be the case. But anyways, as we always like to say around here, say it for me. What do we say before we wrap these things up?
It's great to be in the Empire.
This is not a scam.
Oh, mobile gamer.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Had me too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's DJ, Mobile Gamer on the Flip. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see ya on the next episode. Bye.